everybody, Backyard Bullion here. How do you make money on gold and silver? That is probably the single most commonly asked question that I get here on YouTube, as well as through my emails and social media. So I thought it would make a really good discussion topic for today's video. Now, before we go ahead with the discussion, I want to put a few disclaimers here. This is not a "this is how you make loads of money on silver" style video. I'm not going to profess to know the secrets to this game of investing in silver and making money on silver. Nobody truly does. And it's more around sharing my thoughts and opinions on the subject and hopefully getting some brain juices flowing on things that perhaps some people haven't thought about if they were looking to get into silver, or even if they are in silver. And also sharing some of my experiences of selling silver for profit, and to tell you that maybe it's not as easy as you might think, as a lot of other sources out there, not just on YouTube, but all over the internet, will maybe have you believe. So there's a lot of ground to cover, and my other usual disclaimer, everything I'm saying here today is just my own thoughts and opinions, just a guy who likes to talk about shiny things on YouTube. I'm not a financial advisor, so any financial decisions you make having watched this video are yours and yours alone. Now, where to start? So I think one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is because I get a lot of comments from people. By the way, I have a scratch on my hand. It was from a big rose bush in my garden, nothing else sinister, but I know somebody's going to comment and say, "You've got a scratch on your hand, did you know?" Yes, I do. Now, it's one of the most commonly asked questions I get through emails and through YouTube comments and direct messages on social media. So it's obviously something that a lot of people think about. You know, of course they do. You know, if you're looking to invest in silver, one of the reasons that you invest in silver is to make a profit. You know, one of the other reasons that you might want to consider investing in silver is to have a hedge, to have protection, to have almost like financial insurance against the value of your home currency or the value of the money that's in your bank account. So there are lots of different premises, and I think if you are simply looking to make money on silver, then you need to maybe think about some of the reasons why you're even investing in silver in the first place. You know, there's a whole host of different reasons why you can invest in silver and how you can make money in silver, and a lot of the time that it's not even about the monetary numbers at the other end when you come to sell it that you know, that mean anything. It's not about how much profit that you necessarily make. Of course, profit in fiat is nice, but a lot of the time it's not really about that. So that's something to really think about right at the start. However, it is undoubtedly true that, I mean, as a commodity, as a precious metal, you know, as anything that you can buy and sell, there is money to be made in any market. And to do that, you buy low and sell high. That is the time tried and tested method of making money with anything that you buy and sell. You buy low, you sell high, you minimize the costs along the way, and you increase the profit margins, and you make money. That is the whole point of market economies and buying and selling items for profit. So how you do that, though, along the way is, of course, really very interesting, and it's very much so interesting in the world of silver, because certainly here in the UK, if you buy silver, you're not going to be getting it anywhere close to spot price. You're going to be buying it 15% is really very good price indeed. It's usually more like 17.5 to 20% over spot price for the cheapest silver, and that's from places like the European Mint or goldsilver.be over in Europe. If you buy from a dealer in the UK, you'll be paying 35-40% over spot price. And then, of course, if you're going to look to sell it, you're going to have to either sell it straight back to the dealer and they'll pay you spot price. So there's automatically like 35-40% swing at worst, which is, of course, going to kill any potential profits. So if you are going to be looking to get into silver to make money on silver, have a real hard think about A, where you're going to buy your silver from, and make sure that you get as low price as possible. And then B, where you might look to sell your silver when the time comes to sell it. And that will hopefully give you the best sell price as possible. You know, in that sort of scenario that I'm talking about there, that's selling directly back to a dealer. Perhaps you might want to sell on the second-hand market, like on the Silver Forum or on eBay, where you can achieve slightly higher prices because the market rate, remember, people can't go to anywhere and buy silver for less than 15-20% over spot. So why should you settle for selling to a dealer for a spot price? So there's those type of things to consider. So definitely selling on, you know, social media is an option, but that comes with a lot of different pitfalls. If you've ever sold anything on social media before, or even through your own website or eBay, you know it's quite a lot of hard work, and you know there's a whole host of other things, especially if you've got lots of items. Like if you just got one of these 10-ounce coins, it's not going to be a great deal of work. You put it up on eBay, you get whatever price that you get for it, send it off, done. Hopefully you won't get a dodgy buyer who has issues when it arrives or says it doesn't arrive and things like that. It's a low percentage margin of people that actually try to scam on eBay, but it does happen. So if you've got large volumes of items, you know, you're going to have an awful lot of work cut out for yourself that you have to, you know, package up, post out, sort out, record keep, make sure that the coins are, you know, quality control. You may well have seen on this particular Aztec round, there's some quality control issues on this. So we've got here, you know, on the right hand side, a scratch, a nice deep scratch in the back of the Aztec, which is very, very annoying. And the same can be said on this other Aztec. So this is an example which I'll share with you from my own experiences of buying and selling silver. So these Aztec rounds, these absolutely gorgeous, by the way. I mean, let's just admire that side for one moment. It's simply stunning. They've come all the way from America, and in the UK you can't really get hold of these. Anybody that brings them into the UK gets charged VAT or gets charged import duty depending on how much you bring in. So they automatically are at a premium, and you can then sell them on places like eBay, the Silver Forum, social media for a small profit. And you know, after all of the expenses and risk of importing them all the way from the USA, there's another little quality issue just there, you can see. You know, you get quality issues like this and it suddenly absolutely diminishes any potential return that you might get on these. You know, when I got these in, I think I had 5 or 6 of them, and one of them was absolutely perfect, and we sold that one for £105, and you know, there was profit to be made on that. There was about, I think it was about £2 an ounce profit. So, you know, it's not a lot of profit, but profit is profit at the end of the day. But then, you know, these ones here, you've got nicks and scratches and things like that. So, you know, again, that's going to be knocking down to lower prices. I've currently got these listed at £90, which is basically, you know, it's not a great, I think it's about 50p an ounce profit, if I'm lucky. So there's not a lot of profit to be made in that. And of course, you've got all of the high risk of importing them, bringing them into the UK through, you know, international couriers, which don't necessarily cover precious metals and all of that jazz. So there's a lot of issues there that maybe you need to have a good hard think about before selling those for profit. So for me, I mean, I've got it in my mind that if these don't sell for the profit, then they'll just end up being in my own personal collection or melted down for hand-poured silver. I'm fortunate enough to have that kind of background, but that's part of the second point which I want to make, is all about safety net planning. If you are going to be going into silver just to simply make a profit, then do factor in that it might not happen as easily as you think. If there's a sudden shift in spot prices and it goes down catastrophically, what are you going to do there? You know, I've had many discussions with dealers, which is really fascinating. The sort of mentality of dealers out there is if spot prices kind of really start collapsing or going down significantly, they view that as a time to stock up. They buy more stock. They're happy to sell the items that they've got in their shop to bring in the capital to buy more stock for the future. And then when prices go up again, they make higher profit margins on those type of things. So it's really interesting to get that kind of mentality, see how that works with dealers and learn from that and see what you can interpose into your own sort of strategy going forward with buying and selling items. So there is no doubt that there is money to be made in silver, physical silver. But as I've said, there are quite a lot of risks of that. So I've not even talked about half of them. So, you know, when you're sourcing the silver, obviously make sure it's genuine, it's real, and there's no sort of fakes out there. There are lots of fake pieces of silver, probably not so much in terms of like big things like this. But, you know, there are lots of 1 ounce fake coins out there and pandas and things like that. So that's something to definitely factor in, which could really hit your sort of profit margins. The next side of things that I really want to talk about, though, is selling is really hard. There's a lot of energy and effort that goes into the selling of these items to make that profit in the first place. And a lot of people don't necessarily consider that. And that can be, you know, this can be applicable if you're simply a stacker that wants to buy something and then sell it in 6 months' time for a profit if spot prices go up. Or if you're a sort of fledgling flipper and stacker and you want to, you know, flip a bunch of stuff to generate a little bit more income to purchase more silver in the long run. I think in that situation, my question to you would be, well, if you're buying silver to sell silver, to make a profit, to buy more silver for your stack, why not just keep the silver that you're buying in the first place and use that money elsewhere? Because there is no doubt that there are probably better ways that you can look to make money on silver. And one of those ways is probably not going to be very popular with a lot of people here on YouTube, and that is paper silver. So paper silver is a really, really interesting concept which a lot of people don't necessarily think about if they want to make money on metals. And what I mean by paper silver is simply investing in online stocks and shares that are tied specifically to silver prices or gold prices. You know, that is simple. You buy at the spot price, you sell at spot price. If silver goes up, you make a profit. If silver goes down, you make a profit. Of course, there are implications there in terms of possession being 9/10 of the law, and if there was a big financial collapse, then you could lose money. Well, yes, but let's be honest, if there's a huge financial collapse, you're going to lose money regardless of whether you've got money invested in stocks and shares or not, because the value of your currency in your bank account will go down. So that side of things, there's a lot of people who always say, you know, possession, possession, possession. It's always about having it. If you don't hold it, you don't own it, that kind of phrase. And that is true to a certain extent. But, you know, my real world pragmatism here is a lot of people out there who think that the US dollar is going to collapse anytime soon. And, you know, there were people in 2017 commenting on my videos saying 2018 is the year that it will collapse, 2019 is now the year it will collapse, or 2020 is the year it will collapse. And it hasn't yet, and it hasn't shown signs of collapsing yet. You know, it's just not going to happen in my head. But if it does, of course, we have silver, physical silver, as that hedge. Which brings me neatly around to that final point, which is all about if you are collecting or investing in silver as that long-term hedge, the profit that you make at the other end is not necessarily measurable in the fiat currency. It's important to remember that any precious metal is an inflation-busting insurance mechanism. It is something there to stop you from losing value on your buying power that you've currently got today. So if you buy £1,000 worth of silver or gold today, in 10 years' time, the £1,000 that you could spend today will get you, let's just say with inflation and all of that jazz, that it's worth £2,000 in 10 years' time. That £2,000 in 10 years' time will buy you the same amount of stuff that £1,000 would today. That's the general mentality that you need to remember about silver. So on paper, you've made £1,000 profit in 10 years' time. Brilliant, fantastic, you might say. That is fantastic. But actually, it's not, because it's all about inflation. It's about looking at what your buying power is now. So that is something really important to remember that a lot of people don't understand. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's topic and today's thoughts on it. I think it's a really interesting topic, and it's one which gets a lot of what's the word? It gets a lot of people out there talking about it in the wrong way, and there's a lot of people on YouTube, and I'm not going to name names, there's loads of them out there that will say that silver is the next best thing, you should buy it, you're going to make loads of money on it, and then loads of people buy lots of silver, and then they quickly realise that they're stuck with a big lump of silver like this that they can't sell quickly or easily, or they don't know how to sell quickly or easily, or if they do sell it quickly and easily, they lose a lot of money on it. So that's my kind of final point, which is to be really careful when looking at this. There is no such thing as easy money, no such thing. And if you see anyone out there that's telling you that silver is a quick and easy profit making, you know, it's going to make loads of money for you, it's the same with anything out there. Always take it with a pinch of salt. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And the same can be said for silver and gold. And so many people say it is the single best thing that you can buy or invest in, when that is not true at all. All you got to do is look at stocks and shares. You know, I've got a stocks and shares account which is up over 50% over 7 years, which is ridiculous. So, you know, there's so much profit out there to be made on other things. It's of course about when you sell. I know that, I grant that, and the stock markets could collapse tomorrow. But also, along the way, those kind of things give you dividends. They give you money, they give you fiat along the way. And it's really, really important to remember that silver is just a lump of metal that sits in a safe or in a drawer or in your house and does nothing. It doesn't do anything. It protects the cash that you've locked into it. That's it. So that is my thoughts and opinions on the subject. Can you make money in gold and silver? Yes, of course you can. There are people who do it all the time. Dealers, private individuals like myself, and big corporations out there. There are many different ways to do it, but be careful how you look to do it. If you've got some thoughts and opinions on today's subject, please feel free to comment down below with those thoughts and opinions. It's going to be a divisive topic though. There's going to be a lot of people who think one way or think the other. So please make sure that you're respectful of other people's views and opinions. And the whole purpose of today's video is to get the discussion flowing. So please do comment down below even if you have different opinions. But just be respectful. That's all that I ask. If you enjoyed today's video though, please do hit a thumbs up on it and share it around on your social media. That would be very helpful for everything we do here on our channel. And if you'd like to support the channel, our shop is back online where you can go and purchase hand-poured silver, such as wondrous, lovely goodies like this big old chunky heart, and many other items. So if you'd like to support the channel, head on over to my website. There's a link down in the description below. Otherwise, the last thing to say is if you've not already subscribed to the channel and you'd like to see future videos, hit the subscribe button, and if you want notifications, hit the alarm bell. Otherwise, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and as always, make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.